Ever since I graduated from medical college, I've thought of myself as a decent teacher. I wouldn't say a professional teacher. However, it wasn't until I started my medical education degree here in UK that I realized what my inadequacies were. So this is me again, and I'm one of the specialty trainees in anesthetics and ICU, and I do a few talks here and there about medical degree, medical careers in UK, how to get training, what training entails, and guidance for trainees. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and keep watching the video, and you will learn hopefully a lot from this video. However, this video is not designed to tell you how to teach, because that's a huge subject. If you want me to talk more about how to improve your teaching skills, I can do a separate video for that. But today I'm going to talk about what teaching in the medical profession means and what it gave me as a clinician, and what was my teaching journey here in UK. And I'm going to start with the obvious. Why did I start teaching? So I started teaching because it was part of the curriculum. I started here as an F1 doctor, and part of the F1 doctor curriculum is you have to teach a bunch of medical students. And that is a observed teaching where a supervising consultant will sit with you, observe you, and will then give you remarks and feedback. Any teaching scenario or any teaching simulation is only as good as the amount of time you spend preparing it. So let's say you have to prepare a 20-minute talk to make it worthwhile. You have to spend at least 2 hours preparing for that talk. I'm not going to call it a lecture. There's no more lectures in modern education. We in India and Pakistan, the way we have been taught and as medical students is redundant. It has no place in modern education, so things just change massively. But I digress. I'm very sorry. As I said, this is not a talk about how to teach. It is more a talk about why you should get into a habit of teaching when you are a trainee or planning to be a trainee doctor. So I started as an F1, and the reason I started was because it was an essential part of the curriculum. However, I had some interest in teaching, so I taught a few other sessions, and when I did so, I got a very good feedback. That kind of reflected on my job application and my offer for the core training post, because whichever training post you apply for, the teaching component does matter and will fetch you points. How many points will depend on the experience you have as a teacher. So if you've got a postgraduate degree, that fetches you about 3 points, I think, but it's different for different specialities. Obviously, if you've done a master's or PhD or something in teaching, then that's an entirely different ballgame. This will fetch you more points. So because teaching fetches you extra points in the application, I thought, you know what, before I apply for my registrar job, I need to do some more teaching experience. And I started working for it. So you have to work on your personal skills, your communication skills, your planning of lectures, your ability to give feedback to your students. So all of that has a role in, making progress in your teaching career. I kind of knew that if I become an ALS or ATLS instructor, that carries a bunch of extra marks in my job application. So I worked towards it, and I got an ALS instructor status. It was also when I did my first ALS course that I kind of got a knack for teaching practical skills, because normally for practical skills, the normal teaching method is you see one, you do one, you teach one. But ALS has a different pattern. It's you see one, someone talks you through one, then you talk someone else through it while they're doing the procedure, and then you do it on your own. So mandatory part of the training, essential requirement from GMC. 2 reasons: career progression. So if you're gonna want a new job, apply for a new job, get a better outcome in your job applications. You need that. Once you become a registrar, sometimes because consultants are a busy bunch of people, they will then ask you to undertake some sort of teaching for medical students, for trainees. And also, if you're a registrar, you're supervising junior trainees on a very regular basis. And you need to be able to teach them different, clinical aspects, clinical skills, and it's just part of your job. When a consultant is relying on you, that you'll be able to teach, and increases their confidence when they get feedback from the students, medical students or trainees, that XYZ is a really good teacher, we really enjoyed their lecture. That will put you down in their good books. And also, when there is a general perception amongst your junior trainees, your junior colleagues, your other colleagues that you're a good teacher, it does really go down in your social interactions within the department and even with the nursing staff. The nurses will love you because you will be teaching junior nurses as well. So the senior nurses will be very happy that they've got someone to facilitate them. Your junior nurses will have more confidence in you. Your junior colleagues will have more confidence in you. You get a better feedback from your consultant body, and obviously you can keep asking for feedback, because that will help you improve and filter out any bad habits or any shortcomings that there are in your teaching. The other important bit about teaching is it keeps you in the game. So if I'm going to just see a patient who has got, let's say, heart disease, I will probably go over a few basic points about heart disease. But if I'm supposed to teach class of medical students about heart disease, or even junior trainees, I'll be expected to know a lot more about heart disease. So you work, you revise, it helps you in your exams, it also helps you to become a better clinician, especially if you're more evidence-based. You review papers and get up to date with modern and unique ways of treating a disease. Now here is where things start becoming a bit interesting. If you are a good teacher and got interest in it, and you're able to demonstrate that you've got interest in teaching, people will invite you to maybe regional programs for your talks or national programs for your talks. And if they kind of find you as an attractive speaker or presenter, once you get that invitation, you have actually ticked another box in your portfolio, which is presenting at a conference or presenting at a international or national seminar. Number 2 will increase your exposure to your community, your teaching community, as well as your clinical community. And once you do that, once you start doing that, the sky is the limit, because you may be invited to international symposiums to speak or talk. And if you've got a particular interest, for example, if you are a medic, have particular interest in cardiology you like electrophysiology. In electrophysiology, you're more interested in ventricular pacing devices, then you can kind of establish your name in that field. After a certain period of time, from a trainee, you can actually become voice of power, voice of authority in that kind of field. So that is what it will earn. It also will earn you a lot of support from your training program directors, your clinical directors in the hospital, and even the head of school of whatever deanery you're in. For one of my head of schools asked me if I can do a talk, and I did a very nice presentation, and he's then asked me if I could lend him my drone videos, and also if I would help establish the website for the said deanery. He's also asked me if he can reuse my presentation for coming years. So basically you get a very good working relationship, and every time I've come across him, he's actually singing praises of the presentation I sent him. So you develop that kind of relationship, and if you get the support of your head of school or your TPDs, you can apply then for an out of program experience. So if you're a senior trainee now, you need to then plan for your jobs ahead. So if you've got an interest in academia, you may want to apply for an out of program experience where you can do a postgraduate teaching degree. They may even be able to fund your course. So what normally would cost you about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pounds, from your own pocket might be completely funded by, or even partially funded by, the hospital, which is a good support, and they give you time off so you can actually invest in your future career. And same is for non-trainee doctors. If you can establish and then prove your teaching credentials, your hospital may be willing to give you that opportunity, so that in return you bring back that skill to them when you become a consultant and can take up teaching responsibilities. So that is how you can actually trade your teaching skills for better opportunities in your own career, in your training, and for future. Once you become a consultant and you have a teaching degree, you can be in charge of simulation, you can be in charge of teaching medical students, you could be in charge of local departmental teaching for trainees, you could be in charge of trust grand rounds. In teaching hospitals, in university hospitals, you could have an important role. You could be an honorary lecturer in one of those medical schools. Once you start getting into teaching, it will give you loads of return in terms of, number one, short term, getting your ARCPs signed off, medium term, getting you progressive career jobs, long term, establishing your future career. I hope you found this video useful, and I'm hoping that this whole talk will motivate you or stimulate you to taking part in teaching practices and make your training or non-training jobs a lot easier for you, especially when it comes to those annual appraisals and ARCPs. If you liked it, please give us a like, because that way the video gets sent out to more people. If you've not subscribed yet, subscribe, because I keep doing these videos to help trainees, non-trainees, junior doctors. If you would like me to talk about how to be an effective teacher, I can do another video, but I will need comments down below on specifics of what you would like to learn from that. If you're not following my other channel, Shifa Talks, I'm very sorry, it is only in Urdu/Hindi language at the moment. I do a lot of talks there about general living in UK and some medical illnesses. So if you've got relatives and friends that suffer from different diseases, you can refer them to that channel as well. Whatever you do, like or follow, it supports me do my work. I have no specific time set aside for this. I do it on the go as part of my normal everyday life. If you would like to follow my life adventures, I've got a separate channel for that. It's called Shifa Adventures on YouTube. You're very welcome to log on to it, again mostly in Urdu, but I take you around places in UK, out of UK. It's just random, it could be vlogs, it's just life in the UK. Nice to meet you all, and I hope to see you again very soon. Good luck with whatever you're doing or planning to do. Take care, and goodbye.